Hello everybody, this is me Umang Priti, and today I'll be discussing about the report that I have written here. Um, Introduction to the report. This report is basically divided into two parts. The first part covers the technical terminology, and the second part is about virtual networks, where we'll be discussing about bridge, NAT, and internal network. Uh, so part one, technical terminology. I have chosen NRZ as my topic. NRZ meaning non-return to zero inverted. It is a technique for magnetic recording and data modulation where upon encountering one bit, the polarity of the bit is reversed. NRZ transition occurs at the clock boundary if a data bit is 1. Uh, no level change is represented by the digit 0, and 1 is encoded based on the state of the line at the time. So this figure here represents NRZ encoding. Its advantages is that suppose if we consider two data wires that are connected improperly next to one another, in NRZL all bit sequences will get reversed, whereas in NRZI bits are correctly interpreted because they are recognized by transition. Its disadvantage is that it is very challenging to ensure that the clock maintains synchronization in long strings of any value that does not cause a level transition. Its application is that it maintains synchronization between the sending and receiving clocks. This is especially useful when bit stuffing. So code division multiplexing. This is subsection 2. Code division multiplexing is a networking technique whose short form is CDM, and it combines multiple data signals for simultaneous transmission over a signal frequency band. It is a technology that enables multiple users to share a single communication line, also known as CDMA. Its advantage is that it increases the security of cellular communication and also has offer better call quality. A disadvantage, it is necessary to synchronize the time, and it is unable to provide international roaming, and also with more users the performance declines. Its application SPED Spectrum, technology created during World War II to stop enemies from intercepting and jamming transmissions. Then we'll learn about the difference between analog and digital communication. Um, so analog communication is the type of communication in which the message or information signal to be transmitted is in analog nature. Digital communication, any form of communication that depends on technology, is like called digital communication, such as SMS, web chats, and so on. So we can learn about differences between analog and digital communication here. Digital communication uses amplitudes that are either low or high, and whereas analog communication uses signals whose amplitudes vary continuously from 0 to 100. Um, as you can see the differences here. Example of analog communication is like communication through radio. Example of digital communication is numerous forms of SMS and messaging such as SMS, web chats, and so on. So part 2 is about virtual network. Bridge. A bridge is a piece of hardware that links networking or networks using the same protocol. This is bridge here. Um, then we discuss about NAT, network address translation. Network address translation is referred to as NAT. It is a way to map several local private addresses to a public one. There are three types of NAT: static NAT, dynamic NAT, and PAT, port address translation. Importance of NAT is that it has significantly improved the scalability of the IPv4 addressing scheme. Now we move on to the last topic, that is internal network. When it comes to being able to communicate with the outside world directly, internal network is similar to base network. The only other VMs or virtual machines that can connect to the same internal network are those that are running on the same host. Every internal network can be recognized by its name alone. The Oracle VM VirtualBox support driver will automatically wire the cards and function as network switch once there are multiple actual active virtual network cards with the same internal network ID. So these are the references here from which I gathered this information, researched. and the conclusion. So in this report, we will know about encoding scheme in computer networking, where I have chosen RSI and its examples of application, and also the multiplexing techniques, um, and the differences between digital and analog communication. So in the next part, I will be like demonstrating how to ping two operating systems using VirtualBox, and also to change the IP address and to transfer files with an FTP server thing. So for the part 2, I will be demonstrating how to ping the two operating systems. For this, we need to go to VirtualBox and then go to Tools, Preferences, and go Network, and you gotta create a network. As you can see, I've created 3, but you just need to create one by clicking here, and then just press OK. Go to the respective operating system, start settings, and go to network. By default, this is set as NAT, so you just go to select NAT network and the network you want to connect it to. For my case, I created 3, so I'll be selecting this network of both of them. And just settings, and then go to network, and then I select network, press OK, and you have to go to the terminal and just like type fconfig to find the IP address. In my case, I have no clue, sir, but it just doesn't connect whenever I connect it to a NAT network, so it just goes on and on, like revolves, so it doesn't show any IP address except for this one, which is by default. So like, and similarly with this Ubuntu as well, it just says wired connecting. So whenever I go to terminal and I type ifconfig, it just doesn't show the same thing. It just shows the same thing and doesn't show an IP address over here. Like, to prove that I do know how to ping the operating systems, I know how to ping them. You just have to type ping and then the IP address of the other operating system. So the reason why we create a network was to assign different IP addresses to these operating systems, because by default, if we only connected them to NAT, they have the same IP address and we cannot ping them by having the same IP address. So I'm really very sorry. So I guess it's my laptop fault, or I don't know what's wrong with these operating systems. I've uninstalled them and installed them so many times, but the same result. So I'm very, very sorry for that. And regarding the change of IP address, we can do it by 2 ways, either through settings or like through command in the terminal. So for Ubuntu, you just have to go to settings, and then like, where did it go? Settings, and you go over there, and you go IPv4, you select manual, and just type in an IP address 192.168.100.5. Just apply, and you close it. You just have to like turn off for like a few seconds, and then just connect it, and it should be all good. Config. Yeah, I've got the new IP address here, 192.168.100.5, and similar for Kali, you have to type a command sudo ifconfig it it's 0, then you type the new IP address that you want to give it. Suppose the 192.168.100.3, and then you type netmask 255.255.255.0, and then you press enter, and now you've got to enter your password. But unfortunately, sir, I cannot just type in password. It's just lagging. I don't know why. What's wrong? I cannot type a password. Like everything else works. And if you hit the password, and then press enter, then it will change the IP address. That's it. I know how to change it, sir, but I don't know what's wrong with my application. I'm really sorry for that. So that's how you change the IP address. For the last part, to transfer files within an FTP server, you have to open FileZilla on both your operating systems. And like this, as you can see, I've already opened FileZilla on both of these. This is FileZilla, and what you have to do is type in the IP address of the host. For example, if I want to make Ubuntu my host, I need to put the IP address of Ubuntu here, and then the username and password of Ubuntu and port 22, and then connect. Then I can transfer files. But unfortunately, since sir, I'm not able to ping these operating systems due to some technical error, I will not be able to transfer files within an FTP server, because firstly we need to ping them. So I'm really very sorry for that, but I do know how to transfer files. It's just like host, the IP address of the host, username, password of the uh, host operating system, then port. Just you have to press quick connect, and then like you just have to like transfer the files from here, and then like drop it there, and just download it. That's it. Thank you, sir. I'm really, really sorry for these